Hello guys, this is Christopher. I am your English teacher. And today I am going to talk about used to. And this refers to something that you regularly did in the past but you don't do anymore. After watching this video, you will be able to talk about past habits that you no longer have. Let's continue. This is a very good example. When I was a little boy, I used to play trucano. I don't know how to say trucano in English. I actually don't know the real name of this activity in English, but here in Dominican Republic we used to call it trucano. And when I was a little boy, that is in the past, I used to play trucano. That was something that I almost used to do. I almost used to play every day. Here we have another good example. When I was 11 years old, I used to play tag a lot. Tag is el topao, how we call it here in Dominican Republic. And that is something that I used to play every single day because I used to run a lot. I used to love running everywhere. And this is another example. When we were kids, we used to love playing with toys all the time. When we were kids, we used to love playing with toys all the time. That is something that we don't do anymore. Now we have to work. Now we have to study and stuff like that. But that was a past habit that we no longer do anymore. And here we have a good presentation of the form and the use of used to. The form, we have the affirmative, we have the negative, and we have the questions. Here we have a few verbs and the way we use it. And we have a good example here. For the affirmative, I can say, I used to play video games every day. Now I can't play video games every day. I need to work. I used to go to the park with my friends. Every Sunday, I used to go to the park with my friends to play baseball. I can't do that anymore. Now I need to work. And on Sundays, I need to rest. Now for the negative, I didn't used to swim a lot when I was a kid. Actually, I didn't used to swim. Now I can swim. Again for the negative. I didn't used to go to the disco because I was a kid. Now I can go to the disco. And for questions, did you used to study English before? No, I didn't used to study English. As you can see here, there's a difference between the affirmative, the negative, and the questions. And the difference is with used to. Here, used to has a D at the end because it's only the verb, and in the affirmative, we need to put the verb in the past. But here we have auxiliary. The auxiliary did. And when we have the auxiliary did in a sentence, then we don't change the verb. The verb stays the same. Didn't used to. Did is the auxiliary. And the same happens with the questions. The questions use did as auxiliary, so we don't need to change use. Use stays the same. So again, did you used to study English? No, but now I study English. Here we have a few tips, something that you need to know. Yes, for repeated actions in the past, which are usually finished, it's a past habit. It's something that you don't do anymore. So we use used to for those kinds of situations when you want to express a past habit. But we don't use used to for actions that happened only once in the past. For example, I cannot say I used to eat pizza yesterday. That is not correct. It's only for repeated actions in the past. Okay? This is another tip. You can always use past simple instead of used to. But I say that it's always good to know how to say things in different ways. Okay? So let's continue. Here are a few examples. For the affirmative, I used to play basketball with my friends every day. My sister used to play Barbie with her best friend. For the negative, I didn't used to go to the disco before. They didn't used to play video games very often. They didn't used to play video games very often. Maybe now they can. And maybe I can go to the disco now. But before, I couldn't do it. For the interrogative, did you used to study alone or with your friends? Did she used to practice volleyball with a coach? Because she used to be very good at playing volleyball. But that is something that she no longer do. It's very important, guys, to take into consideration that when we are talking in the negative and we need to express ourselves about a past habit, we need to put used to, we need to write used to or say used to without the D at the end. Because in the negative we are using the auxiliary did. The same happens with the interrogative. Since we are using the auxiliary did, then we don't need to change the verb use. But remember that it's always necessary to change the verb use to the past in the affirmative way. Okay? And that is how you guys use used to. When you want to express a past habit, you want to talk about that. This was my explanation about the use of used to, and I hope that you liked it. Remember that if you want to master something, you always need to practice, practice, practice. Thank you very much for watching, and see you later, guys.